Cadillac is now trying to compete in a market segment owned by the Germans. So we grabbed the Cadillac CTS Coupe and put it up against its closest competitors, the BMW 335 IS and the Audi S5. I'm now in the 2011 Audi S5. Let's just be straight. This is a beautiful car.
You cannot tell me you don't want the Audi.
Now this is a loaded model. You've got to break 60 grand to get into this S5 spec'd out like this one.
But look at it this way. The Audi is an aspirational car.
Random people come up at the gas station and just say, nice car. The S5 has that kind of presence.
It just feels so much more refined. That seems weird to say when we're talking about a BMW in the same group. Audi has proven to be the car manufacturer that pays the most attention to the details. You just want to touch every little piece.
All the materials are great. They've done a beautiful job of just making everything very accessible, clean, easy to read. I love the way they've integrated the nav screen into the same hood as the instrument panel. I've always hated the dual humps of BMW, and Audi's figured out a way to make the nav screen and the instrument panel look beautiful together.
It's so interesting, the tactility, all the materials that Audi has chosen for the interior. That's why these interiors are the best. And check it out. These seats are great because they're the sports seats that come in the S5.
They're comfortable, they grip you right in the kidneys with amazing bolsters. The problem is, I can't even really get my hand between the seat and the seat behind me. So while technically it's a 2+2, it's really just a 2. The first time I saw one of these, I said to Paul, I wish the new Camaro looked like that. It doesn't feel like a German design. It feels like the attitude of an American muscle car.
I don't think it's very American. I think it's very German. The Germans are very tucked and buttoned down. They really bring it together and really resolve all the surfaces. Right down the shoulder, Audi has done this beautiful, graceful eyebrow arches over both wheels. All the other lines are in harmony with those themes, and it's fairly conservative, but it's gorgeous.
What I realized when we had this car is it's the first time I've ever looked at it perfectly in profile. And I think that's its worst angle. The front is gorgeous, the back is gorgeous, and generally when you see a car, you're going to see one of those bits that make this a fantastic thing to look at.
It's absolutely beautiful. The Germans are never going to be crazier styling than the Americans. And for that reason, I think the Audi is going to stay the best looking car of the bunch. It feels like it drives lighter than the Cadillac. It's a little bit more sprightly on its wheels.
Paul made a really big deal of the weight in the Cadillac CTS, but the thing is, the S5 is every bit as heavy as the CTS. In fact, it weighs a little more.
But with the Audi, you're getting something for your weight. You're getting Quattro.
It's sure-footed, and especially when you get into a winter climate, this is the car that's going to give you confidence no matter what it's doing outside.
This car feels like it nearly drives itself. It's just so planted and solid.
And the Audi Drive Select system is really pretty awesome. And on this S5, you can set up pretty much everything.
What you can do is select between different modes for the engine, the transmission, the steering ratio, and the sport differential in the rear. Now, you might think that's gimmicky, but it really does work. You can feel a huge difference. Now, maybe you just want to cruise, you're on a road trip, you want a little bit more comfortable ride, you can put it in comfort mode.
If you drive the S5 in comfort mode, you may as well have bought the A5 because there's no way to tell that you've got this big powerful engine, and the steering may as well not be connected to anything. Everything about it feels like riding in a sports car from the back seat. This dynamic drive control should be relabeled. It should be nap, let me take care of it, and mildly entertaining. Thankfully, you turn everything as frantic as it can get, you start to realize there's a sports car hiding deep beneath this.
I don't think it's less responsive because it feels really nimble. It's just a heavier steering feel, and that's the Quattro.
But because it keeps the information kind of insulated from the driver, it's hard to be really precise when you're trying to be really fast. This is the opposite end of luxury sedan feel from the 335 IS, and the Caddy is somewhere in the middle.
You can feel the Quattro. You can feel the car pulling you through the corners.
I just want this S5 to be a little more hair on fire. In fact, I think it's shaved bald.
Now, of course, there's no denying the Audi has the most power. What's interesting, though, is Audi has put the S4 engine, the 333 horsepower supercharged 6, in their convertible version of this car. And I'm wondering why Audi didn't put that engine in this car, because that would have made the front end a little bit lighter, and that's nearly as much power. It has a different feel too, because it's not that kick in the back. It's really more of a surge.
It's amazing to me that here is the car with the most power of all three of these. This big, growly, throaty, torque-filled V8, and yet the Beamer feels a whole league faster than this. And with an engine this big, with this much horsepower, I'd like to have it underfoot all the time. I'd like to be surprised by it. I want to be reining it in and holding it back. And it's just available, but it doesn't want to disturb. I just want the S5 to blow my mind. And you've got to get incredibly deep into the pedal to get close to the kind of horsepower you're expecting from this car.
I'm overwhelmed. This car is just such a fantastic driving experience. The interior is jewelry. Of course, the engine, there's no denying it. I would love to listen to this all day long. Screw rock music.
I want to have that moment when the S5 surprises me. It takes me faster than I expect. It does the corner even harder than I think possible. And I just get the impression that I have to keep coaxing it to get a little bit more.
I kept thinking to myself, as I'm driving the Cadillac and the BMW, that, you know what, I'm sure it's going to be a tight race. I don't think so anymore. This car is just, this is an amazing machine.
It looks beautiful, it has plenty of power. Everything on paper suggests you got an unbelievable car. But the power never quite gets to a place where it wows me, and the handling isn't as precise as the BMW.
This is tough.
That is an amazingly close three car.
I've got my choice.
Okay.
What I'm thrilled about, though, is America has come to play.
The Caddy is genuinely
I'm
competing.
flat out impressed.
Absolutely.
So it's my number 2.
It's my number 2 as well. Made in Detroit, and it comes in at number 2.
I'm actually kind of relieved because the German cars are great cars. We knew they would be.
So number 2 for
Fantastic
both
cars.
of us. Where are you for number 1?
Well, you see,
Yeah.
I picked the Audi.
Of course you did.
It's brilliant. It's a fantastic car. I love it for everything about it. The interior is gorgeous.
But the problem is, though, Audi is now charging you every dime for the quality that you get. It's the most expensive car here.
It's not a bargain machine.
It's the most expensive
But you do
car
get
here.
what you pay for.
But my problem with the Audi is the fact that it's the most expensive car here and it's the least involved. I felt like it was almost equivalent to the Caddy in levels of involvement, but the Caddy's far down on power and far down on price.
I felt like there's still some dynamic feel to the car. Even though you feel the Quattro, it's not Novocaine in your butt, you're feeling the Quattro, you're feeling the car pull you through the corner.
But the thing is, the Beamer dynamically is head and shoulders above these other two, and that's what speaks to me. And I'm not a guy that worships the 3 Series.
Well, congratulations, you bought a 3 Series just like every other schmo.
You're right. You have to
that's the
buy that
thing.
car because you know what it is.
If you see one of those cars, you're going to know that person knows what they've got.
I'd like to hope they do. I'd like to hope they didn't just
Yeah.
buy it because it's the one under the M3 and this is the one that I can barely afford because it's less than 60 grand. Please buy it because you drive.
But the Audi just still... I tried!
Paul picked the S5. Newsflash!
I am like paddling around, doing the backstroke in the pool of Audi.
I think it could be a lot sportier and still be just as great of a luxury car. And if it were that recipe, I think the Germans would lose in every category.
With the CTS, we actually have the first Cadillac I would consider buying.
It feels fantastic. It's just kind of whatever from the exterior, and the interior is fine, but okay.
Every time I'm in the base 3 Series, like a 328, I never really feel like it's living up to the 3 Series reputation. But the IS actually advances it.
This car is brilliant. I've told you before, and I'll say it again. I'm an Audi snob, and this car proves my point.
I keep waiting for this car to be as amazing as the stats suggest. And it's great, don't get me wrong, but I'm never amazed.